So we're looking at the first of the 4 championship races here. Day 1, champion hurdle. Epatante obviously won it last year, reigning champion. Got beat at Christmas, not ideal, but women for you, innit? A back-to-back mare winning it. I mean, this sounds offensive to Epatante, but like you get the likes of like Annie Power going in there. Probably could have been a dual champion hurdler. I would actually be offended if Epatante was a dual champion hurdler as a mare. That's just the way I stand with her. But even with the fact she got beat at Christmas, I'm struggling to find something against her. That race in Ireland was, the Matheson's hurdle was deflating slightly, but then Sharjah looks like a good thing there. So maybe that was the time to get him. Maybe not now. I think his price is too short. Abacadabra's, I think, was just too bad to be true. And we know he's a bit of a weirdy horse, so I'd potentially be able to forgive him that. But I'm struggling, guys, to find anything to take on Epatante. And I don't want to let Daryl have all the fun. So, Jamie, there's no way in the world you're not going to help me wind up Daryl. So please get to work.
Well, I can wind him up a small bit, all right. Like, but look, mares, you just don't know mares. Mares turn up one day, the next day, no. I wouldn't get too carried away that she was beaten the last day.
No.
Right, Bouverdere was beaten in the same race as well, so I went on to win a champion. I suppose, I think Patrick Mullins this time will ride Sharjah a little bit closer. Not as far back as he was, but a little bit closer to the pack. I mean, like he was, 5 lengths off the pack at one stage, and if you watch the champion hurdle back. Like, they look the 2 best at the moment. Like, no, I'm very disappointed with Saint Roy. I don't know, you can't really, he's probably better next year over the fence. I think Abracadabra's is, like, if you think about it now, Shishkin probably values a bit more in the spring. Wait till the Dublin Racing Festival to see what the best of the Irish are. Abracadabra's on better ground will be a lot closer off a stronger pace, I will say that. So you have to factor in now, like in the Dublin Racing Festival, Honeysuckle's going to run. So who's going to beat Honeysuckle? Is Sharjah going to... I think Willie Mullins won't run Sharjah this time after flopping the last year now. So it's Honeysuckle's to win. Will Henry Drama do me a favour and run her in the champion hurdle against Epatante? Because 6-1 at the moment looks value because now Willie Mullins could turn around and put Concertista in there as well, but I think Concertista will go to Mare's hurdle. I think Henry Drama should put her in the champion hurdle because I think she's a right chance if she runs in the champion hurdle. But at the moment, it's been Epatante and Sharjah. Epatante to win, Sharjah each way, whatever you like. Now, I would back Honeysuckle if she ran here, but you only have to wait till to see what happens. But that's the play. It's the same play as last year, Dave. Epatante and Sharjah.
Yeah, mate, and to be honest with you, I'm glad you mentioned it because I thought I was going a little bit mad with it. But Honeysuckle last year, people were raving about her any race, possibly going for a champion hurdle. Obviously, that was mostly after she won at the Dublin Racing Festival. I struggle to see how she's going to get beat at that Dublin Racing Festival. I mean, maybe she'll get found out for speed, but if she does go and win that race, surely she comes here. Betfred went non-run and no bet as well. The championship race is, I think the entries come in on the 5th of January, so that'll be close to when we put this out here. So no doubt she'll have an entry in there. She is 12-1, I think, Betfred, non-run and no bet. I mean, I've backed 16s just for the fact that I feel like the race could all be falling apart and I might be able to get a cheap cash out of it.
Well, would she go out in front and catch me if you can? Is that exactly. I think is that was what it's like? She's a strong stayer. Put her out. Now, I look, Rachel Blackmore is like a 50-50 for me. She was brilliant on her in the Mayor's Hurdle. Didn't give Manila a crap ride, I think, in the RSA. She's hit and miss. Everyone thinks she's great because she's a lady, which is fair enough. But sometimes she can be hit and miss. Will she have the nuts, I'm going to say, to go out in front and go hard from the front and run this thing out of Sharjah and Epatante?
That's it, innit?
It's there for everyone to see. Will she be able to do it? But will the Bromhead put her in the race? That's the problem.
That's the tricky thing with it. Matt, we talked about this before, didn't we? About how the pace of the champion hurdle last year was pants. It was a walk. Loads of them were in a bundle. Same we had it in a stayers hurdle a couple of years ago where everything was just there. It turns into a bit of a sprint. I don't think you can trust the form directly. You need to see it backed up after. With that in mind, and them going a lot faster, does that change how you're viewing the champion hurdle now, considering that Silver Street went out like the clappers and that's what got Epatante beat? Or are you still viewing it the same as you did before? What do you think right now, Matt? Tell me.
The one who I really didn't want to go there, Honeysuckle, is probably the one I'm now interested to see if she does go there. If she wins the Irish champion hurdle, I think she will go here. And I think that probably will end up becoming the bet because the rest of the Irish, And at St. Roy was the one I liked at the beginning of the season, and I think that connections clearly think he's their best hope, but he just isn't producing it on the track, is he? And how many more chances do you give him? It's difficult now, but Abracadabras, I don't think I could have. Yeah, but I'm doing the same thing as last year. Epatante will win, won't she? That's the problem. That's the problem. Missed the price, and then I should have already backed Epatante. I have to look at Daryl's face.
And that's it. That was very familiar to how me and Daryl had most of our conversations from probably literally just after Boxing Day all the way through to March. I'd missed the price on Epatante. I was just sulking, sorry. And yeah, the Bet365 has shortened up a lot of these markets. Should have mentioned that earlier, but they have on the UK runners. So they've actually got Epatante down as short as a 13 to 8 fav. Still get 9 to 4 top price with Betfair, Paddy Power about her. Dazzler, is she going to do it for you again this year?
Yeah, I wouldn't be as confident as I was last year, but I do think she's going to go very close. I wouldn't have her as 13 to 8, that's for sure. Clearly, there was something wrong with her at Kempton. She wasn't right in the prelims. I don't know if you saw the footage of her throwing her head around and getting all upset and wound up. They've set off. She was still pulling her head. You watch that first jump over the first hurdle. She just had her head over up to the side, up, and yet she just weren't happy. Something was not right. Something was annoying her. It was a really, really good ride by Adam Wedge on Silver Streak, because he didn't go off like the clappers, like everyone thought he did, right? He was actually going exactly the same pace as the third time lucky race in the novice hurdle was, right up until the fourth or fifth fence, and then he was only at the sixth. He was only 2.53 seconds ahead, so about 6 to 8 lengths ahead of the novice hurdle on the card. So he wasn't going extremely hard. The moment he kicked on and went really hard was when he heard Epatante in behind him clatter that third last hurdle. Between that point and the second last, he quickened away, caught Epatante by surprise, and she just couldn't pick him up. Now, that was not the horse we saw last year. That was not the horse we saw in Champion Hurdle. Wasn't even the horse we saw at Newcastle. So I would be happy to write that off. Slight concern for me is that she's going to go straight to the Champion Hurdle now, I think. So that would be a slight worry that you're going to have to back her off of that Christmas Hurdle performance. I think I'm right in saying that when Bouvedere got beaten in this race, he went on to Champion Hurdle and fell. So he didn't go on and win it. So that would just be a slight worry. That race has been a little bit of a graveyard for Champion Hurdle favourites over the years. I do, however, think Silver Streak has improved this year. I do think he's improved this year. Prominent Tactics have seen him to good effect. I thought he should have won the International. He got denied a clear run behind Song for Someone. He should have won that race. So I don't think he was given Song for Someone that's form a boost by any means there. However, the fact that I'm looking at Silver Streak for a Champion Hurdle is complete opposite for what I was doing last year, really. I still don't think he's going to be good enough to win it. If you go back to Champion Hurdle last year, I've got to admit that Sharjah, if you do the time figures, the two circuit figures, there was only something like 0.3 of a second between Sharjah and Epatante. So Sharjah was undoubtedly inconvenienced by his racing position out the back of the field. But the point you get to is that Epatante's turn of foot is quicker than Sharjah's. Like, the times to tell you that she's a quicker horse than he is. So Sharjah's going to have to be in front of Epatante at some point in the race to quicken away from her, and hopefully she just doesn't catch him. So he's going to have to get first run on her. But his hold-up style of racing is not going to allow him to do that at any point. There's not a chance that Epatante's going to be too far off the lead and let the leaders run away. I think this is going to be run at a good clip. You're going to have Aspire Tower in here, wanting to make the run in. Silver Streak's definitely going to be prominent again and try and make the run in. Honeysuckle, if she comes in here, she's going to try and make the run in, turn it into a test. I think Honeysuckle's too slow. I do. I think she's too slow for a Champion Hurdle. She only just scraped time against Darvastar at Leopardstown last year. That form's not good enough to win a Champion Hurdle. She's best over 2.5. I even think she wants to go up to 3 miles. I don't think she's quick enough at all for this. Concertista would be a danger if she came in here the way she runs at Cheltenham, but she's definitely going to go to Mare's Hurdle. I can't really see any difference to last year other than the fact that I've now got to forgive Epatante a poor run in the Kempton and Christmas Hurdle. And I think there was something wrong there, so I think I'm going to be able to forgive her that. I do like Sharjah. I just can't see at what point in the race he's going to be ahead of Epatante to get first run. And that, for me, means that Epatante has got the superior turn of foot and she's going to win back-to-back champion hurdles. We're basically going through the exact same what we went through last year. We are, like, everyone's doing it, right? As soon as Epatante was beaten at Kempton, all you see all over Twitter was, it's a wide open champion hurdle here. Like, and if you reverse 2 runs ago, after that champion hurdle, when Epatante crossed the line, everyone was going, she's class, she's a class above. I can't believe no one looked at Epatante. 2 runs later, and arguably one of our most impressive performances in the following 5th, and then a disappointing run, everyone's like, it's a wide open champion hurdle. Just think people are so quick to dismiss a horse's chances. Look, yeah, I do like, will I back her at 13 to 8, no bet? No, I wouldn't back her at that price. I'm probably going to wait till the day.
Would you be worried though, Daryl? The 2 times she was beaten out, Silver Streak and the sectionals and wherever the last day, right? Would you be worried about the faster you go, the easier you can get her beat? It puts more pressure on her jumping because she's like Bouvier. She clips the top bar, right? When she's on form, she clips the top bar. If you go really fast, would you just get her guessing a bit and say, "Oh, wait a minute now"? Because every time, as you said, the champion hurdle last year was slowly run, and all of a sudden, then she got first run on Sharjah. What if Sharjah eyeballed her in the eye and said, "Here, come here now. I'm coming after you this time," right? She got first run on that. The 2 times she's beaten, the time she's beaten in the Mayor's Novice, I know now she was wrong and everything, but they went the right clip that day. And Concertista had a run that year. We forget about talking about Concertista for the rest. If Concertista had a run, it would have probably won the Mayor's Novice because that Eglantine Desai hasn't won a race since, right?
Yeah, but you can't use that race because, like you just said, that she was wrong.
The jab. Is there something? Yeah,
like,
but like, can you get her beat? Can you get her beat though if you go fast? That's my answer. My question.
I don't think so. I don't think so, and I think like because I don't think she was. If you watch the start of that Kempton race, Silver Streak stole 4 or 5 lengths at the start. Already she was straight on the back foot. There was something not right with her. She was throwing her head around. She weren't happy. It was a small field, 5-runner field. You know, a lot of it was wrong. You look at her best performance. Her best career performance has come in a 17-runner field in the champion hurdle. Like they didn't go slow in that champion hurdle. You know, Sharjah was able to make up that ground from the rear of the field.
Yeah.
And times will tell you that he was disadvantaged by his position. So it wasn't the fact that he was disadvantaged because they went slowly. It was just disadvantage on the circuit time that they ran. Like, I do think she can handle a strong pace. In fact, I think I've always thought that the faster they go, the better it's been for her because she'll just sit there, take a tug behind, and then just use her turn of foot in the closing stages. So, no, I do think a small field tactical race doesn't suit her.
See, I mean, I've got like a bit of an antsy thing about her anyway, but I just can't have her being a back-to-back champion hurdle winner. Can't have her. And the thing is, the fighting 5th as well, it was all that she was impressive. The fact that Silver Streak, Song for Someone, all that sort of stuff happened early, I just can't imagine that they were going that quick. I think it was fairly comfortable for her. And I can't have Sharjah winning the champion hurdle. What are we doing talking about this? But
this is the same. This is a similar scenario to the Supreme, though, isn't it? What do you want to take her on with?
But I feel like this time round there could be bits and pieces that could be interesting. So Jamie mentioned that Mayor's Novice hurdle. Concertista did run in that race, Jamie. She was beaten in that photo where people thought she actually got up and won the race. I mean, not many people. I just said it because the guy next to me, I told him that he'd won and he was celebrating because it was 66s and then it lost. He looked like he was winning for me. But it was second in there. So Cheltenham form for that. Obviously bolted up last year in there. I mean, it's only a Mayor's Novice in it, but I know she's been running over 2.5, and I like Benny for the Mayor's Chase, but who knows? With depending on where horses go, that sort of stuff, I still think Concertista could potentially. We know that she stays a bit further. We know horses probably need to do that. Again, Betfred have gone on no bet. They're the only ones that have for the championship races, but you can get 10s on Concertista and you can get 7s on Honeysuckle. So probably they're not both going to come here, but I just feel like if you're having a bet at this point, you couldn't be backing Epatante, she's too short. You should have backed Sharjah before he ran in the Matheson's hurdle because that was the race that he was going to win. And like 8-1 now about him is just pants. Saint Noir, everyone's on him at bigger prices in the summer. Abacadabra, I still feel like you could maybe forgive him, but we're clutching at straws with that. But then the Shishkin form looks good. Honeysuckle Concertista with that non-run and no bet concession, I'd be tempted to chuck a score at both of them if I was just gagging.
She's got at least £12 fine, mate. At least that just put her on 162. Then she needs to be. In fact, she's got about £15 fine on what she's done.
I think someone asked Simon Munir as well about Concertista, and he sort of said mares.
Yeah.
Dave on the.
There you go. My man Matt knows.
Non-want to know bet though, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
And then you get lead. But the best thing about that is, at least my tip this year will get you £20 back. So unfortunately, gentlemen, I've sort of not got too much to say in that. Matt, one horse that I know you agree with me on, we think possibly maybe could have been okay. Saudi obviously ran in that Masters hurdle when he came back. I personally, I mean, I know he blew up and like didn't obviously stay there, but they weren't too hard on him after that happened. And then I think if he was actually ridden, he could have maybe finished a little bit closer. Do you think he could still be overpriced 25s if they get him there, if they get another run in?
I don't know. They seemed quite happy with his run afterward. They didn't seem too despondent, did they? But you're taking a leap of faith now, aren't you, Dave, after the amount of time he spent off the track on and off. And yeah, no, I don't know if I could be backing him out at 25s even.
All right, I'll shut up about the race now then. But I hope he goes to the Dublin Racing Festival. We all know for a fact that is going to be the race to watch for a key pointer towards this race. Bouverdin might be back in the contenders hurdle. I mean, he ain't going to come back and win it, is he? But that Irish champion hurdle, when it gets to it, we see what the field is. Like Jamie's nailed it. There's no way they're going to run Sharjah in there again after what he did last year. I don't think there's any point in it, unless they're just running in there for a fitness thing, knowing he's going to get beat. But whatever you fancy in that race or the way the race pans out, depending on ground or whatever, that could be the time to strike on something. And potentially, even that non-run no bet angle, there'll be plenty more bookies that might have him priced up there. I think as it stands at the moment, it's fair to say across the board of us, nothing really gets us too excited. Like if you had one bet across the Cheltenham Festival, you wouldn't be sticking it in the champion hurdle, would you?
No, but is it worth mentioning Goshen?
No, shut up. Goshen, Jesus. You've tarnished this whole show now. The
That's
whole
like
series has to be cancelled. I'm not having him mentioned at any point.
That's like mentioning Nasalam's a grade 1 horse, Goshen the second.
Oh.
Actually, it's probably a good time to bring in Goshen, actually.
Oh my
You
God.
want to mention him, Daryl? Go on.
Well, I just thought it was worth mentioning because he's going to the contenders hurdle against Bouverdin, isn't he?
So you're thinking if he goes and does Bouverdin, hype?
Well, not necessarily hype, because what he did in that Triumph hurdle was absolutely ridiculous. And Aspire Tower's done nothing but give the form a boost. So he's 20-1 at the moment. I mean, if you're looking for trying to look out for a standout star, I know things have gone terribly for him. I know they ran him on the flat and did stupid things there. I know he literally dropped out with heart murmur in Cheltenham. I know things have not gone right for him, but he's one of those horses that I could see running really, really well and maybe nabbing a place or finishing fourth, probably get 4 places on the day. And then, maybe next season he might, become good back to it. He's just one of those that's sitting there at 20. I mean, I'd rather back him at 20-1 than I would back someone at 20-1, for instance. Or I would rather back him rather than Benny Desjeux at 25-1. I'm just saying, in the contenders hurdle, if he comes out and if he does turn over Bouverdin, he ain't going to be a 20-1 shot. I'll tell you that now. He'll be back in the second favourite.
Yeah, fair play. That's a good shout, to be fair. And again, Betfred, because they've got non-run no bet, they only won 4 championship races. They're 4 teams non-run no bet. So the only reason I'm suggesting that in my head is if he goes and gets done in the contenders hurdle, they might decide, you know what, let's put him away. Maybe just leave him for the season if he's poor again. So potentially people were backing this horse at 5 and 6-1 earlier in the season, weren't they?
Exactly, yeah. So it's worth. I mean, the time to back these horses is when everyone's written them off, isn't it? So, especially Antipost rather, but it's just worth a mention, isn't it?
No, it definitely is. That's a fair point. It's much more valid than me bringing in the likes of Saldia. Right, we're going to wrap up the champion hurdle, and then we've mentioned a couple of them, but we'll go and crack into the mares hurdle next.